10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is September 18th, and we're going to start today's episode with a bit of self-promotion here. Of course, I got to do that. So I released an episode of Launchpad today where I talked to Teddy Woodward, who's the co-founder of Notional Finance, and Teddy's a really cool guy, who is working on the DeFi project that launched at, I guess, the most unfortunate time, right in the middle of DeFi summer. And it was a really great conversation because we talked about how, he was working in the TradFi as a banker and a trader, and how that, he wanted more. And once crypto came along, it just kind of was like a light bulb moment for him, and that was like the path he had to take. So then, he worked towards founding Notional, and he talked about the ups and downs of Notional and how it all worked out for him, some of the stresses involved, some of the excitement involved, and it was a really, really wonderful conversation. And then the main reason why we were talking was because in Notional Finance are about to release their version 3 in the coming weeks and months, and in that, they're going to be heavily integrating RETH and RPL, and there's a little bit of information about how they're going to be incorporating RPL, which is a unique and novel way that I've not seen in any other DeFi protocol at the moment. So I thought it would be really nice to share this conversation, with Teddy, with all of you all, and kind of just get an idea. The thing that I found most interesting in this conversation was that DeFi summer as a DeFi protocol and what that was like, because of course we've all heard stories, but it was really great to get some of those anecdotes from Teddy directly, and I guess those could be kind of extrapolated to other DeFi founders as well. But it was a real pleasure to speak to Teddy, and there'll be more stuff coming from Notional Finance in the coming days and weeks, so I'll keep you all abreast of that and let you know how it's all going. Okay, so let's get started with this episode proper. So here we had some comments from Cy Tweak. Cy was a long time Rocket Pooler, but hasn't been around in a while. He came by yesterday, and then this morning he said, "Congrats to everyone for making it through the bear market. According to my battle-tested metrics, we are now officially in a bull run." So, of course, that's really cool. So he says, "Seriously, well done, everyone." And Phil Kerr says, "Bull run downwards." And Maverick says, "Australian bull run." And Sai says, "You can't see it yet because we're only an hour into the bull run, but it's official." So, what's really interesting here is because Sai, during years ago, was very involved in sharing fractals and trading stuff in trading, I guess. So, but that was before we banned trading from trading. But here he said that he's not a financial advisor, but he thinks that taking 2 times leverage now makes sense, and you gain more with confidence as the market goes a lot stronger, and you could be 25x towards the back end. But anyway, the main thing that I want to share it for is because of these fractals. So Sai was really famous for sharing fractals in years gone by. So what basically a fractal means is you take an area of the chart of crypto, and that kind of mirrors what looks like the period that you're in now. So I guess he took it from this W shape that you see on the left of this Ethereum chart, and started with this peak over here, right in the left of the screen, and kind of overlaid that with where we are in the chart now, and kind of you can see how it kind of overlaps if you look towards the green overlaying the red part. So that's called a fractal. Basically, the idea is that as patterns have kind of played out in the markets before, then those patterns will play out again. Now, I'm not a proponent of the fractal theory of technical analysis, but I thought I'd share it all with you all here because you might find it interesting. So basically, using this fractal that compares the peak of this bull run with this previous the double bottom kind of that we saw with Ethereum over 2022, you can see that we will probably hit 13,000 on the next bull run. With Bitcoin, the numbers are interesting too. So he takes this previous wave kind of around the they played around with COVID dump, I guess, and kind of overlays it onto this chart here, and then it shows that Bitcoin will be going over $260,000 to $300,000 per token. So there's some really bullish fractals here. So he says, this is an interesting. He then kind of says that these are fractals are not resized, just copied and overlaid exactly as they were. And he says that COVID was a glitch in the matrix. You should be so lucky to have anything like that happen again. One short crazy dip right before the bull market starts. That's even better than if I originally said you should get in contact with an advisor for high-end and then he says you should get in contact with an advisor for high-end properties and new luxury vehicles right now. The process can take 12 to 24 months to complete. This lines up with when you'll become a multimillionaire. So I just wanted to share this because Sai kind of came in like a whirlwind trading this morning and kind of got everyone all riled up. And trading's been kind of flat, let's just say, these last few days. So we needed a little bit of an injection of whatever this is. And I thought you all might find it interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to pass along Sai's congrats if you missed it in trading today. He says that congratulations on making it through the bear market. Today the bull market has officially begun. So if this is not a bull market and we're not multimillionaires by 2025, then you can take it with Sai right there. So yeah. Okay, getting to some serious news now. We last week talked about a new update for Geth, and Geth version 1.13.0 was out. However, there was some issues with that in terms of block building and local block creation, and Prism, it seems like, was the client that was especially impacted by this. So now there is a new fix. It's a hot fix that came out a couple of days ago, which was version 1.13.1. So if you did update to the latest version of Geth, it is strongly recommended that you update again to 1.13.1. I don't know how many of you all are using Geth. You shouldn't be using Geth because it's a super majority client, and bad things will happen if this bug was a lot more serious and everyone was upgraded to it and things went bad. There would be a whole lot of slashing, like inactivity leak and other bad things like that. So please get off Geth, get onto Nethermind or Bisu at the moment, with others coming online soon like Aragon and Reth. Although like they're online now, but maybe they'll be brought into the smart node stack soon. But until then, if you are on Geth, please update to 1.13.1. Okay, next we've got this update from the Ethereum validator queue that shows that Ethereum mainnet just crossed 800,000 validators. As you can see here, we're under network, it says active validators 800,137. So that is 21% of all ETH staked. That is really great to see that, staking has had such a huge expansion since withdrawal started, and it's really great that we hit this landmark, this milestone number. And then we have this news with Rocket Pool as well, where just as Ethereum was hitting 800,000 validators, with Rocket Pool we now have 28,750 validators. So that is fantastic that we're growing, although it would have been really nice if that number was like double of this, if it was like hitting 50,000, but that's okay. Like that time will come very soon. In the next year, the upgrades that are coming to Rocket Pool will really help us grow to like boggling heights, and I'm really excited to see that. But until then, Rocket Pool's growing, Ethereum's growing, and that is really great to see. Okay, next we have this Twitter space that was hosted by Ewan. Ewan, of course, is IB1 Gymnast. This Twitter space was also hosted by Marcy and Ewan. So the three of them hosted this Twitter space together, and it was a fun chat where they talked about ETH and the premium / discount available on there and what that might mean with the ETH ETF. They talked about NodeSet quite a lot and how it's going to impact Rocket Pool, and they also talked about other fun stuff. So if you are curious at all, you can go give this a listen, and there was some really good information in there about especially about the Ethereum ETF stuff, and then NodeSet as well, about how it will help Rocket Pool scale, and the huge positive impacts that will have on the Rocket Pool protocol. So if you are interested in that, definitely go and give this space a listen. It seemed like 340 people tuned in, which was a really nice turnout for them. So congrats, Evan and the team. Okay, next we had this question posited by Ken, who said, are you interested in borrowing against your RPL to mint stablecoins? If yes, please share your requirements below. But at the moment, it looks like the sentiment about this is strongly no in the Rocket Pool community. I guess it makes sense to say no when you've seen your asset, depreciate in value against USD by about 60%. From the highs of $65 down to $23 where we are today. So right now, it makes sense that people will say no, that they don't want to borrow against their RPL. But there's three people who said, well, actually two people who said yes. Let's see who they are. That was Quant and Rocket Staker, who want to borrow against it. But the majority of people here, like Faldorf, Dando, Schifrin, and others, said no, thank you, not right now. And then, they were saying like even ETH is kind of volatile for this, doable with a buffer, but yeah, not without sweat. And then not you said RPL is too unstable as collateral. Well, hopefully on the way up, it'll be pretty good. But right now, I don't think anyone wants to touch collateral with their RPL, except degens. But definitely listen to my Launchpad episode with Teddy, because that's one of the things that he talks about in that episode quite a lot. So I think there might be people in the community who find that quite interesting. Okay, another thing that happened over the weekend was that we had the 1 year anniversary of the Ethereum merge, and Sasano here released a tweet saying today is the 1 year anniversary of the merge. Since the merge, we have had 980,000 ETH burned, 11.6 million ETH staked, and 362,000 new validators have come online. Sasano says, the markets have never been bearish the markets have been bearish over the last year, but the Ethereum ecosystem has never been more bullish. And then there's the EI pandas, like the Ethereum merge panda. You had the polar bear, the black bear, and they merge to become a panda, which is a nice meme around that. And then from Ultrasound Money as well, they kind of like share those same numbers, but they kind of show that in terms of issuance, there was 700,000 ETH issued in that time, which means that since the merge, there has been 300,000 ETH that has reduced in terms of supply. So Ethereum has been net deflationary since the merge by 0.25%. And then also Ultrasound Money here say without the merge, Ethereum would have consumed 0.2% of worldwide electricity, and we also would have suffered 3.5 million ETH of proof of work issuance. So the reason why I want to mention this as well, because a lot of people have talked about how the triple halvening thesis and the Ultrasound Money thesis haven't really come to play, because Ethereum is still down bad from all-time highs. However, what people are like, what's really interesting to point out is that even though ETH is down against BTC, we've done way better at holding value compared to the last bear cycle. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because 3.5 million ETH has not hit the market that otherwise would have, which would have severely impacted the price of the ETH token. So there's some really interesting tidbits there. So I thought that might be interesting for you all to get that information. Okay, so we talked on Friday's episode about the Holesky update and how it was like a failure. Well, here, like pretty much right away after I released the episode, the devs and others, working with Holesky started realizing right away that the chain will need to restart. So the work that had happened on Friday will be abandoned, and there'll be a new start. So they were talking about how well, here in the screenshot that you can see, they said that if we fail to generate a chain within the first 32 slots, the clients will forever remain in a sinking state, potentially preventing long range attacks. Therefore, potentially causing, I guess, long range attacks. Therefore, if your beacon node is already past the 30-second slot, bump the genesis delay and redo the consensus layer configuration. So that's kind of where we realized pretty quickly that that's where we were heading. And then we got a timeline at that time, I don't know if that's where we stand right now, but at the time people were talking about having Holesky relaunch on the 22nd. Right now it might be that it happens on the 28th or the 29th, but I'm not exactly sure. Let me see if there's anyone here talking about it. They're saying that it will be... No, we don't have a date of when it will be at the moment, as I can quickly like skim here and have a look. But yeah, as soon as we get a date, I'll let you all know, and you can get everything ready again for Genesis, I guess, re-Genesis. But even though there were all these problems, there were a couple of Rocket Pool community members who were able to get their nodes online and propose. So here we had Yorick, crypto manufacturer, who was able to propose this block, but it was missed and orphaned. And then we also, the first Rocket Pool, like directly, the Rocket Pool nodes proposing a block was Pateris here, who was able to propose a block as well. And I think there have been some other blocks that have been proposed, but I don't think anyone's really taking this seriously anymore. But yeah, there'll be a new Genesis, I think, in a few days' time. Okay, as a bit on the side here, Joe was kind of laughing because there's always mini pool proposals that come in. So here there was a person not in the smoothing pool who got a 14 ETH block, and people were kind of just talking about that. And then Joe said, "Look, guys, I know this is going to happen eventually, so let me just get it out of the way now." And he says, "Here you go." And then there's a new emoji here with the smoothing pool, like emoji with the smoothie with a red X through it. And the name to call that is Dibsy. So Dibsy now has a new emoji where it's anti-smoothing pool emoji. So yeah, and I thought that was kind of funny. And Dibsy, of course, said fuck to that. So yeah, but anyway, this is the last story for today, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the bull run that might come, kind of linking to what Sai said, just trying to get some sentiment in the Rocket Pool Discord about what people think might happen in the next bull run, what kind of numbers they'll be looking for. So I said, where does RPL peak in ETH terms in the next bull market? And people, I give the options, less than 0.015, which is where we are right now, all the way up to more than 0.05. So it seems like a whole bunch of people think that we'll peak over 0.05, and then after that, people kind of think that we'll be somewhere around or just a bit above the previous all-time high in ETH ratio. So that's around 0.04 to 0.05, and then kind of where we peaked at the all-time high as well. So the distribution shows that people are bullish and strongly bullish at that, and the sentiment tends to show that we'll be at least above 0.03 and potentially even above 0.05. And then next I asked the same question again, but instead I asked where it peaks in USD terms. So I said, where does RPL peak in USD terms in the next bull market? And here again, people will kind of skew towards higher numbers, where the majority of people think that we'll peak somewhere between $250 and $300, and then others kind of going for numbers around there as well. So the USD peak is not quite as high as the ETH peak. Now that's really interesting because 0.03 on ETH and then a $300 RPL would basically mean $10,000 ETH. So those numbers kind of match up in interesting ways with what people think where the bull market might be going. And Waldorf of course said that the ETH peak of the bull market and the RPL peak of the bull market might not necessarily overlap with each other, but you'll get some good indications of what it looks like towards whenever that bull market takes place. Now that might be an interesting question next to ask, when that will happen, whether we'll see the peak in 24, 25, 26, maybe even 27. No one really knows, of course. We don't even know if there will be another bull market, but I just thought I wanted that sentiment for myself, just to get an idea of what people in the community are thinking, and then I thought I'd share that with you as well. But if we get more than 0.05 on the ETH ratio, but then only around 350 on the around 300 on the USD, then of course that means that ETH will peak at $6,000 or thereabouts. So I think it'll be interesting to see how those dynamics play out. But anyway, that's everything that I have for you all today. Thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all had lovely weekends, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.